What's going on, everybody? My name is Nate, and I'm pretty excited to do this video with you all because to celebrate the release of the brand new Toy Story 5, which comes out in theaters tomorrow, I thought now would be a really great time to do a whole recap on the 4 movies before the new one does come out. And yeah, I'm really excited to break down the 4 movies with you guys. Give you some really good details and facts. So without further ado, let's get started. So we're starting off amazing and fresh with the very first Toy Story, which came out in 1995. Now this was Pixar's first movie and first established franchise. It takes place in a world where toys, whenever there's no human around, they just come to life like actual moving people. And I find that concept pretty fantastic in my opinion. And to this day, I'm always wondering, how are they even doing this? And I'm still waiting for that answer many years later. So one of these toys is Woody, who is played brilliantly by the incredibly talented Tom Hanks, and he's leading a group of toys, and he is an owner of a boy named Andy Davis, and he owns a bunch of other toys like Ham, the piggy bank, Slinky the dog, Rex the dinosaur, Bo Peep, and many others. Oh, and especially Mr. Potato Head. So it was Andy's birthday, and Woody sends down the green plastic army men to check on the new toys. And surprise, surprise, Andy does get a new toy from his birthday. And that none other is Buzz Lightyear, who is played by Tim Allen, and Buzz represents what Woody isn't. You see, Woody is a cowboy out of the Old West era, while Buzz represents astronauts, which is space themed. I mean, this is around the time around some different eras. Some kids were tired of the Old West stuff and they just want to go to the sci-fi era. That's basically how it is for in Toy Story. So Buzz Lightyear acts like he's just, I'm a good toy. But Woody, he is a little jealous because he knows he's Andy's favorite toy, and that jealousy just went to completely on edge for these two. So late in the evening, Woody accidentally knocks Buzz out the window, and the toys are mad at him, and then when Andy later gets Woody, and then to head out over to Pizza Planet, and the van stops at a gas station. Buzz and Woody get into a scuffle, and both are separated from Andy and lost. So they did eventually go to the Pizza Planet to try and go back to Andy. But Buzz gets distracted, he gets into a claw machine and with these green aliens, and they really left it out, but not by Andy. It is none other than Sid, who is Andy's mean neighbor who likes destroying toys for fun and a hobby. So Sid takes Woody and Buzz to his house and put him in his room where they meet other toys, and it's just pretty intense. Things got from bad to worse for these 2 toys, literally. And after a failed rescue attempt from the other side, from Andy's toys, Sid then plans to unalive Buzz with a toy rocket he plans to launch up. Woody, having a change of heart, decides to go ahead and save his new friend, and he rallies up the other Sid's toys, and yeah, the toys go to war against Andy, and it just leads to one of the coolest scenes in the movie where Woody says, "From now on, you take good care of your toys, 'cause you don't, we'll find out, Sid." And that just completely scares him off. And that's one of the coolest moments, and pretty shocking in the entire Toy Story universe. Anywho, the duo escape. They eventually cop with the help of other toy, RC, and they catch up with the movie. They catch up, and they later get back into Andy's arms. It's just he and his family were just moving to a new house. And yeah, I enjoy Toy Story. It was a pretty good success, and it would take a few years before it would do another movie, which is Toy Story 2, which came out in 1999. So I'm about to break down this movie just right now. So the toys are in the new house. They're like adjusting to new life. They're just like the new place. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And Woody is like a little excited to go to cowboy camp with Andy. But however, during a play session, Andy accidentally rips Woody's arm off like a bit, like there's like a little stuffing. And this of course puts that plans up to a halt. Because yeah, it's just pretty bad. I feel bad for Woody. And later, Woody meets a penguin toy named Wheezy, and however, when he gets sold up at a yard sale, Woody risks his life to go save him. He eventually does. He eventually gets to the yard sale with the help of a dog named Buster, whom they got in the last Toy Story movie as a little bark tease. However, Woody falls off the dog, and he is unfortunately found by a man named Al, who is basically a greedy toy collector. So he toy naps him, and he heads him to his high apartment, and this is where things get pretty interesting for Woody. Because while at the apartment, he meets 3 other toys there. There's Jessie, who is like the cowgirl. There's Bullseye, the horse, and Stinky Pete, the prospector. So Woody finds out that he is a toy, part of an old cartoon series called Woody's Roundup. And it's just pretty interesting. Like, imagine finding out like you like a star of something. I was like pretty shocked when I first saw that, in my opinion. Meanwhile, back at the house, Buzz decides to go for a broke rescue mission, and he has Ham, Slinky, Mr. Potato Head, Rex, and yeah, so the group decides to go all the way from Andy's house to go to the apartment to rescue Woody. So meanwhile, Woody tells the gang about he has to get back home to his owner. It just really creates tension with the group. And following a failed escape attempt, we actually learn a bit more about Jessie. Turns out she once had an owner named Emily, and unfortunately, as Emily grew up, she stopped playing with Jessie, and he just stopped. It's pretty sad. I do feel bad for Jessie. And you gotta appreciate the amazing voice talent for Joan Cusack. I really love like the voice acting that these characters do. It's just pretty fantastic. So meanwhile, the toys gang decides to go to Al's toy bar because that's where they think Woody is, but he isn't. So while roaming around, Buzz meets another version of Buzz, like with the utility belt, and there was a bit of a scuffle. They switched like places. It's a pretty hilarious moment that Tim Allen can do great acting. But anywho, they managed to get up to the apartment, and Buzz is like, "Hey Woody, you want to come back?" But Woody's like, "Nah." So the toys just left him. However, after Woody was sitting watching the TV, but of his puppet version of himself saying, "You got a friend in me," and the human boy hugging him, Woody has a change of heart. And yeah, he decides to have Jessie and Bullseye join in to Andy's toys. However, the prospector refuses since he has never been played in his entire life. And then later Al shows up. He's planning to take the toys all the way to Japan for a display thing. That's what I forgot to say, but now I'm saying it now, so I just want to let you guys know. So then there's a huge big airport chase. Andy's toys manage to find Woody, and yeah, and Woody also saves Jessie from the plane thing, and yeah. The toys return back to Andy's home, where Andy returns from cowboy camp. And yeah, it was a pretty great one. I overall enjoyed Toy Story 2. It took some huge leaps, but it managed to do well. I'm excited to talk about the next one, which is Toy Story 3, which came out in 2010. And I was around 7 years old when this movie came out, so I was pretty excited to see this one, since I've was my first time watching a huge Pixar movie like that, and I enjoyed it. But anywho, let's get to the story. So it's been a couple years since the last Toy Story movie. Now, Andy Davis, he is now a teenager about to go to college, and he has not played with his toys in at all since his teen and young adult years. Some of the toys that we know are just left and stuff, and yeah. Woody just wants to make sure the toys go into the attic, so one day when we can be safe and well. However, when Andy's mom just picks up the bag that Andy's toys are in because she mistakes the bag as trash, and yeah, they were thrown outside. The other toys think Andy abandoned him, and despite Woody's attempts to help and explain, they just don't go through with it. So yeah, they end up in a donation box, and Danny's mom takes it to the Sunnyside daycare. And that's where they meet a bunch of new toys there, including this pink teddy bear named Lotso Huggin' Bear, or Lotso, who's played brilliantly by actor Ned Beatty. I gotta appreciate his immense acting he does, especially as a wise old bear toy. And not to mention, I forgot to say, there was they also, during the move, they also brought the Andy's Toys meet Barbie, and then she meets the Sunnyside's Ken, who was surprisingly played by Michael Keaton. I was pretty surprised when I knew that. So Lotso shows around Sunnyside. The gang gets moved to the Caterpillar room, and while the toys get there, Woody's insist of returning to Andy. The other toys nah. So Woody decides to go off, attempts to return home, but later he's found by a young girl named Bonnie, and she takes her home. And yeah, I'll get back to it in a bit. So meanwhile, Andy's toys face a grueling treatment from the young toddlers since they can't play the toys right. Buzz decides to go talk to Lotso to explain, hey, we need to be in a different room. But Lotso's nah, we ain't doing that. So yeah, Lotso and his henchmen switch Buzz to demo mode, brainwashing him and support Lotso's command in prison Andy's toys. Meanwhile, Woody meets Bonnie's other toys, and they're all pretty nice. And then Woody learns the horrifying truth behind Lotso from a clown named Chuckles. Turns out Lotso was a lost toy. After his owner Daisy just accidentally left him behind, he along with Big Baby and Chuckles, and when Lotso saw that he was being replaced, he was just when something snapped in his heart. And afterwards, he found the Sunnyside daycare. He took it over, turned it into a toy mega prison with an iron fist. And it's just pretty grueling how an innocent toy like Lotso suddenly became a cold-hearted villain. That is just insane, and scary at the same time. Mayhew, back to what I was saying. So Woody devises up a plan to go save his friends, and he eventually turns to Sunnyside, gets back with the others, and they manage to reprogram Buzz. And speaking of Spanish, it's a really funny scene of how I just laugh so much. So just as they're about to escape, they're confronted by Lotso. He tries to say this app, but the toy's nah, and Woody shows the little special baby little heart piece thing to Big Baby, who was one of the toys that Daisy left behind. But after Lotso showed his dark side, Big Baby just threw him in the dumpster. But later, Lotso catches Woody, and all the toys end up in the garbage truck thing on the way to the dumps. So the toys end up in a crazy situation, almost near an incinerator. And this was so realistically dark because Pixar was willing to push the limits beyond its characters. And I really appreciate how they're willing to do something like this. And I enjoyed it a lot. So after Lotso betrays him again, the toys look like they were about to all hope is lost until they were saved by the claw from the green aliens, whom I forgot to say they're part of the gang now. They managed to sneak on the machine thing. They saved the toys, and yeah. The friends return home, and Lotso gets the ultimate bad taste. He gets picked up by a garbage thing, and yeah, that's what he gets. So later, as the toys are about to go out their separate ways, Woody just writes up the Bonnie's address to put in the box so Andy can deliver the toys to Bonnie as a donation thing. And it's an emotional moment where Andy plays with his toys one last time before saying goodbye to his toys and like the audience. And I gotta say, it was pretty emotional seeing this. I get teary every time I see this ending of Toy Story 3. You're saying goodbye to something you know you can't, like, probably won't ever see again. And it's pretty emotional in my opinion. And I realized that the franchise could have stopped there. But it didn't, because a couple years later, in 2019, we got Toy Story 4. And I'm halfway done, you guys, so this is the last one I'm saying until like the end. So Woody's been having a hard time trying to fit with Bonnie and everyone. So one day, since Bonnie's first day of kindergarten, Woody makes a plastic spork named Forky, who is played by comedian Tony Hale. And he suffers like existential crisis, like thinking he's not a toy and he's trash. There's like a whole back and forth thing. Woody tries to help him out. It's just pretty hilarious and interesting at the same time. So during a road trip, Forky jumps out of like the RV thing and Woody follows, and yeah, the two end up getting lost and they go to like this small town near a carnival, and Woody sees a familiar like lamp at the antique shop. That, my friends, is like the lamp from Bo Peep. And yeah, there's a chance that Woody may see her again. But while exploring the store, the two run into Gabby, who is played by Christina Hendricks, and she needs a new like voice box because hers doesn't work anymore. So Woody escapes before he gets captured, and Woody reunites with Bo Peep, whom they had a liking for each other. And by the way, Bo is played by Annie Potts, and I like this actress's performance, and she's pretty great. Meanwhile, Buzz, he goes on his own little mission. He meets up with two other toys that are Ducky and Bunny, who are played by my favorite comedians, Keegan-Michael Pay and Jordan Peele. Those two are so funny on screen, and if I had those toys in real life, I would just like interact like the Key and Peele sketches. I gotta appreciate the other characters in this movie. I forgot to tell you. There's also Duke Capoon, played by Keanu Reeves. He does pretty alright acting. But yeah, I just like that. So, following a failed rescue attempt, Woody decides to give up his voice box for Gabby, and it works. And when Gabby has the voice box, she wants to get this girl named Harmony, but she is like, nah. So later, when Woody helps her out, helps Gabby, she managed to help her find a kid that needs help, and it's pretty nice and emotional. So with all the gang like coming back to help get Woody back and Forky, Woody decides to like pass the baton, which is like his sheriff badge, to Jessie, nominate her as sheriff. So it's an emotional moment. It's like seeing Woody and Buzz depart while Woody stays with Bo to give him a lost toy and live out the adventures. And yeah, that's where Toy Story 4 ends. I gotta say, this movie was alright, even though we didn't need a Toy Story 4. I myself find the movie pretty fantastic, and it was a pretty good watch of the movie. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about the Toy Story movies. I'm pretty excited for like Toy Story 5 to see where this franchise could go. And yeah, it'll be really worth and fantastic to watch. But anywho's, thanks for watching. Remember, my videos are just my thoughts on movies and TV shows, so even if you don't agree with me, you could just watch it for yourself. But yeah, I'll see you next time. And remember, folks, to infinity and beyond.